3 million years from Earth, the Red Dwarf podcast thanks for the memory. Its crew, Blake Braswell, a USA native, and Lee Malaby, his English co-host. Additional. Life aboard Thanks for the Memory is not unlike the first 3 episodes of Series 8. Funny, sexy, silly, and unnecessarily drawn out. But that being said, we must be near the end of our journey by now, right? What is up, Smegheads? And welcome to Series 8 of Thanks for the Memory, a Red Dwarf podcast where we rewatch every episode. That made me laugh more than I did when I actually wrote it. Where we rewatch every episode of the BBC comedy show Red Dwarf and discuss them. I am Lee, and I am here with Blake. Hey, Blake.
We're done. We'll never. No more Holly jokes. It'll never top that.
It does kind of sum up this podcast that is unnecessarily drawn out.
Oh my God, brilliant. Oh yeah. Well, spoiler alert. You're taking some of my notes that I have to discuss in this episode.
Oh yeah.
You've already stolen them. Oh man, freaking brilliant. Well, before we get started, shall we raise a toast? I didn't mean to do this, but I have this terrible for me red lemon soda.
I haven't got anything, but yeah, we should.
I'll do but if we're going to take a moment to pour one out for Rob Grant, I feel like it should be lift your room temperature lager that had a cigarette put out inside of it and pour it out for Rob Grant.
Yeah, it's interesting because we're recording this the day episode 2 came out. So when we recorded that, it was actually the day after that it was announced that Rob Grant had died, which, as for Red Dwarf fans, a really, really sad day. Yeah,
I mean, it was odd because we had just recorded and we were talking so much, and then it seems, I didn't dig too deep, that it was it was a surprise.
Yeah.
But seeing all the people jump back in and start talking about their favorite episodes and what they were going to watch tonight and all that kind of stuff. And he just seems, for everything that people... a lot of people spoke about like their interactions with him, whether they're meeting him at a convention or just in life in general or whatever. He seemed like he was a pretty cool dude to be around.
I think it also shows, like you said, that people started talking about Red Dwarf again, that it really does still have a popularity this far down the road that transcends the show that hasn't been out. I mean, when did the last episode come out? Like, it must have been 2007 because that's when I did my last full rewatch. So I'm assuming it'll have been about that. So yeah, you haven't had an episode out for nearly 20 years at this point. Is that right? Oh my God.
Yeah, I think you're right. 2020. No, 2020.
Was it?
Technically was the last one that dropped. So
okay.
16 years.
Even so, 2020.
That wasn't technically
that was
a proper
6 years
episode,
ago.
right? It was a special.
My brain, yeah, 20. That was 6 years ago, Blake, not 16.
I know. No, 6. Oh God, I can't.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Wait, I'm trying to make it fair. Wait, was it just 2020? Why does it feel like it was longer than that?
I don't remember when the last episode came out, if I'm honest. So,
yeah, I mean, I've never seen that one. As I've said before on the podcast, that once we start to get past Series 8, I really fall off of this. But
was that crazy? Was that the feature length one? Was that the Promised Land?
Yes.
I'm not sure I've seen that,
Yeah, Promised Land is 2020, I believe.
I'm not 100% sure I've seen that. Yeah, it came out in 2020. Interesting.
God, why was I trying to make that 16 years ago? Feels like it's been 16 years.
Oh, it's interesting. It came out in April. So
everyone would have been
COVID
locked down.
And yeah, I don't remember. I'm not sure if I've seen that. Interesting.
Would that have aired on the BBC at the time, or would it have been on?
It's according to Google, it says BBC. I'm not sure if I've seen that. Interesting. Okay, that's actually quite cool. Something new to. I mean, not that I remember any of these at this point, but.
Oh man, when we get to like 11 and 12, nothing. I know nothing, and I only know. Oh, that includes 10. Actually, I know a little bit about Series 9, which was that 3-parter.
Yes.
All I know is I've started the first one twice and never moved on. So we'll see what happens.
I mean, it can't be any worse than Series 7 at this point, but I guess we'll see.
Oh, I feel like we could be wrong about that.
Okay. I genuinely don't remember.
People listening to this going, oh, God, you guys have no idea. So what are we talking about tonight besides past Series 8? We are discussing the third episode of Series 8, Back in the Red Part 3, an episode which originally aired on March 4th, 1999, as you had alluded to already, as we are recording just almost a week past that.
Yeah.
So the crew seemingly escape Red Dwarf on Blue Midget. Rimmer attempts to hide evidence of his crimes, but inadvertently reveals to the crew that they are in a simulation. Meanwhile, Captain Hollister observes them all and passes judgment.
It's a very simplified version of the story.
It is, and when I read it out loud that way, I'm like, oh, yeah. And you know what we've got? We can't stop going to that AR or virtual reality thing, can we? Constantly.
Especially now that you're back on Red Dwarf. Yeah. That we need some way to get them off to change the scenery, basically.
And nothing will ever beat Back to Reality's reveal.
No.
Because that goes on just long enough that you start going, is this the show now?
Yeah.
Is this what the show is going to be? Did they do? Because, there are shows back in the day that would, kind of, there was one I'm trying to think of right now, but they would kind of change premise partway through. And then the reveal that, it's all false was so well done.
Yes.
That it's a little hard. It's a little hard to do this again.
Which is interesting as well. If you go back to Better Than Life, kind of did it very similarly, because when they came out of it, they had that weird sort of cliffhanger ending where it felt like they were still in it, where the guy was like, the guy who'd come from the Outland Revenue. I still love that. The Outland Revenue to smash his... Yeah.
Wait, is that Back to Reality or is that Better Than Life?
That was Better Than Life, yeah.
Yeah, Back to Reality is the Series 5 one.
Yes.
Yeah, right. I switched.
But they're both quite similar in the premise of them. Yeah, but like you said, I think it's like you said on the last episode that sometimes, and it's not something I'd considered until you mentioned it, that some of the things that they bring back, it's for an ease of use rather than, so specifically you mentioned the Dibleys. Yeah. And it's just too easy to go into that rather than it should be organic to go in rather than just like, how can we work them in? And I think the AR's the same at this point. It's just an easy go-to to change the scenery.
It's funny. Every time something like that comes up, my brain starts thinking about, you still could have done it, but differently. So you still have Rimmer trying to screw with the programming, and he erases Cat's cool or something, and all of a sudden he turns into Dwayne Dibley. Do you know what I mean? Like you still could have done it. It felt very forced. Before we've already alluded to it. Before stepping into this episode from the beginning, I do feel I wrote down. I've done it 3 in a row. Back to the Red 1, 2, and 3. Watched 3, then watched all 3 back to back.
Okay, I didn't.
And this definitely needs to be trimmed down to 2 episodes. I think in 2 episodes, this would be a cracking good adventure. And I even think when we do our episode about the next episode, I have a thought of what you would do for your 3rd episode before you got to Cassandra, which is the 4th episode.
Okay.
But it definitely, I think I said it here. I said this could have been a 2-part season opener. Then you do 1 episode of us learning what normal life in the prison now is like.
Yes.
And then in the 4th, go into Cassandra with the Canaries.
Yeah.
Which we'll get to. But I feel like that if you'd pared this down and if you still want to get 8 episodes in, do a 3rd episode that's like, this is life now on the prison,
And then, that's why they're looking for something else. And then the Canaries come up and there's a reason for them to do it. Because, I can't carry on like this. All right, why don't we join the Canaries? Because you get all this extra stuff and privileges. Yeah, okay, I could go with that. But
we haven't had an episode. And I know we're kind of weirdly talking about they're kind of linked in a way.
Yeah.
By making this a 3-parter and ending with, they're in jail now. But in the next episode, we're kind of changing already how they operate. So it's an odd... It's like this show, it rebooted once in the opening episode, and then it rebooted again at the end of this 3rd episode of this is what it's going to be like now. And then it reboots again in episode 4. So it's odd. It's a bit odd. Going from the beginning, the cold open. What did you think about the cold open? I know we said we were excited that they were back.
It's funny, isn't it? Because we've kind of already had this in episode 1. It starts off with this because obviously you don't know what this is. Like, how come Lister and Rimmer are in the? I don't know. It kind of does what you said you could have done a whole episode about. You're starting to find and this. I can't remember which episode it was. I put this note down, but so this is the brig on Red Dwarf. So why is everyone in? I don't understand. Right, on this commercial ship, why everyone in the brig is like a hardened criminal.
Well, but I guess we'll get to that more in the next episode when we actually start to meet some of the criminals.
But it still doesn't make sense. Surely they're not people they've picked up from space. They're people on the ship. So why are they all like the worst of the worst?
And you'd have a brig. A cruise ship has a brig, right? People get like you would have a brig. Yeah, and it's not like we've gotten some line of like well, we've been reanimated, whatever. When Hollister figures out like, something's happened, the ship's better than it was. It brought everybody back. Why did it have to bring back all the killers that we had that secret contract to drop off these prisoners somewhere?
What I mean? That would have made sense.
Yeah, like, because it's odd because like Red Dwarf's now a penal colony.
It is.
We've gone from like a Red Dwarf ship that was huge that only had 6 pieces of set we ever saw, and now we've got, and it's not bad. It isn't a bad idea. It just
there's no explanation for it.
Yeah, why not just have them find a surviving mining colony, but it's a prison. I don't know.
Something like that. Yeah, it didn't make sense for me that why this brig is so big, why there's so many people in it, and why they are literally the worst of the worst.
Because that's something I can't remember if I wrote it down for the next episode or this one, but it's worth bringing up now with what you say is, what is the Jupiter Mining Company? Because in my brain, it was like a merchant vessel nowadays on the ocean has a captain and a crew.
Yeah.
And this feels, or even if you do an oil rig or something like that, this seems equivalent to me. And so now I'm confused to where I know there's always the Space Corps and there's Jupiter Mining Company, but I never thought Jupiter Mining Company was the Space Corps. I thought Space Corps would be like the military version, Star Trek, whatever, that's what Lister Rimmer wanted to do, but he only ended up on the Jupiter Mining Company, this corporate sort of, Yeah. I know it was never explicitly said, but it never sounded like it was the same thing, although they keep referring to the Space Corps directive. I guess they've just never really explained.
No, you're right.
How...
Look at us delving deep into it again.
Yeah, is it the Space Corps? And this is, you have to, because that would be interesting if you had like a set of rules we all agree we abide by. Jupiter Mining Company, the Titan Mining Company,
everybody,
whatever. So here are the rules, so we can keep it consistent. But
maybe.
Oh, I love when we pick up one of these rocks.
Yeah, it's right. It's interesting though. I've never considered, because it's never even said really like why they're on the ship. Like where they're going, what their mission is to do, right? Even right from the beginning, you just dropped in the middle of it, and it's never explained where they're going and what are they mining.
And just saying it's a mining ship, it's fine by me. Okay, it's just commercial vessel, and it doesn't matter because before we know, they're all dead.
Exactly,
and
it doesn't matter.
Yeah, so I guess that's the problem. And it's like there are complaints about the new Star Wars stories become a little too sci-fi. They explain more than you should. And I'm like, well, that's actually the danger of taking like a sci-fi fantasy and continuing to tell stories. Because at some point you have to explain something.
Yes.
And then it starts becoming scientific, midichlorians or needing fuel for the ships. Stuff that like Star Trek would do, but not Star Wars, right?
Yeah.
And I guess this is the same. You bring the crew back and now all of a sudden you're asking yourself, well, what's up with the Red Dwarf? Why? It's got a 13th level brig, or the brig is on 13th level and it's terrible. And
yeah, it's weird.
Yeah. Like how would Lister have never known anyone that went to the brig? You almost feel like he should have.
Like, where's Kachansky at this point? And Crichton? Where are Crichton and Kachansky at this point? Or are they in separate cells elsewhere? And the Lister and Rimmer just got put in together?
Well, we are going to get to that, but weirdly, I thought it would be next episode, and it's not. We'll see it in series, I guess episode 5 would be my assumption.
Okay.
Because we don't really get that. The next episode, it's still just Lister and Rimmer's bunk or whatever, or their prison cell. I did this opening. I had a couple of thoughts about the opening, the cold open. Apologies, I sound so harsh on this episode already, but the Gideon's Bible joke.
Oh yeah,
does not work for me.
Really?
It reads like a series 1 Lister joke, where at times they'd almost push too far into saying he is completely an idiot.
Yes.
But there was such a playful nature to Craig Charles's early Lister that you were like, do you really think that? Or are you like overcompensating by how much you don't care about how the world works?
Maybe.
Kind of being like that punk of whatever. I don't care. I don't know. And I was like, this Lister, and this is the other problem with rebooting the series right now. He's too competent. Post series 6,
yes.
And then even series 7,
yeah,
he is like the captain of the ship.
Yeah, that's true.
He's too and in a good way. Like he's grown. He's just like, I don't want as much as I enjoyed Lister and Rimmer of series 1 and 2. It was cool to see them grow. It's weird to see him do a joke like that. I don't know. It just didn't. It was underbaked. It made me giggle,
to me. But I get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was. I don't think you get away with saying they went to see the ships. Was it the psychiatrist that Rimmer said he went to see? Well, not the psychiatrist.
He said I was a pasty-legged.
A Nancy boy with girly white legs. I'm like, I don't think you get away with saying that in 2026, but all right.
And then he beat me up. Was a good follow-up.
It was funny. Another really strange reference was something to do with, they were talking about how they were dressed, and it's like it was dressed as bad as someone from the Dutch royal family, and I was like, are the Dutch royal family, are they notorious for being badly dressed? I don't understand that joke.
I just remember Rimmer not liking the Belgians and the Dutch somewhere elsewhere in one of the episodes. I feel like, right? Did he call it the Belgians once, and then he calls it the Dutch once? How about the perfect line in that opening, though? That is like, when was this show written?
Oh, I think 1998 potentially.
Yeah. Do you have the line? You know what I'm talking about?
So basically, he said it's so debauched he wouldn't get elected as the president of the United States of America. I was like, that is just as relevant. In fact, probably we don't want to get political on this podcast right now. I can be more political because it's not my country right now. But that joke is more relevant now than it was back then.
I mean, that was Bill Clinton. Yep, that'd have been Clinton when that was written. Yep.
Yes.
So I was like cracking. I was like, oh my God. That when my wife and I were watching this episode, the first one was like, whoa.
It's like anybody watching that episode then, 2026 went, hold my beer.
Yeah, hold my beer. Like, I got you, man. I got you.
We do like a cheese toasty joke as well, don't we?
I did think about you with the cheese toasty joke. Yep.
The fact that the only reason he wants a trouser press is so he can make a cheese toasty. Brilliant.
Did you see that he almost fell over his bunk? I don't know if you noticed that. On my second view, they both walk in. Lister goes to the bunk and Rimmer goes to the table. And Lister, like, he starts to get, and it goes like this, and the camera cuts. I just noticed it on my second viewing. Go watch the beginning of that.
My favorite joke in this cold open is the latrine box that they get with the blindfold for privacy, right? And I'm going to be honest right here now, because when Rimmer sits down and puts the blindfold on, that's exactly where my mind went. That I would be if I would be the one to put the blindfold on, sitting on the toilet, and then Lister to go, I think the blindfold's meant for me. And I was like, oh yeah, of course it is.
Yes. It's brilliant. So that's where this cold open. I'm so glad you brought that up. We're literally talking about some really like some funny bits and things in this cold open. So it's why do you not like it? And I don't know if not liking it's not the right word. It just, so watching them even separately and then watching them even back to back before I did them before I did them all back to back, I don't like it because when this is over, even though there's some funny bits in there, we cut to Captain Hollister basically being Holly. It's like he does the Holly opening and he looks straight at camera and he brings us up to date on everything that's happened with a few jokes, like the whole, if anyone finds out I'm Dennis the Donut Boy, I'm finished, which is such a Holly thing. And I thought, So what? Why the cold open? I almost would have done Hollister before the cold open, like Holly.
See, do you think that if this had have been one episode, which it was originally supposed to be,
like 1 55-minute episode,
because it wouldn't have been a cold open at that point. Potentially you don't get that scene with them
unless
in the
they
prison.
choose to do what they did for the first episode and do the cold open as a nod, like, hey, we're coming back. Maybe, but it will be better, I think, to start off with the end of episode or series 7 and then just
I don't mind the cold open of episode 1.
No, but as we said, the only problem we had with it was you do have such a great reveal for Rimmer later. That's the only thing, if you don't do it, is kind of fun.
But then that's about it. You think about this scene just randomly in the middle of the episode. It doesn't work. You wouldn't. I don't think you have it there because it happens. Because this obviously happens after these episodes.
Yeah, and you're right. If you did no cold open, if you had your back, we're back. Here's the story as it continues, and then you did your 1 hour episode. Then episode 2, you started with a cold open. Say, hey, it's back. You know what I mean? Like that would make sense to me.
It's like one of the things, and you said it there with the Captain Hollister thing, where you're already cutting out a good 2 or 3 minutes in this episode and the last one, spending time recapping what happened in the episode before.
And I gotta admit, I might, if I did this as one episode, either 2 episodes or 1 hour-long episode, 3. Instead of a Holly opening, I might have still let Hollister do what he did.
Yes.
Because like that cold open from Holly back in the day was just, the beginning of our podcast. We didn't know. You would catch these shows whenever they were, it's not like the internet where stuff was advertised. There's a new show coming out. And you would get the 3 Million Years from Earth, the Mining Shoe, Red Dwarf, all of it. You'd get a basic gist of, well, I guess I know what's going on. And then it would start.
Yeah. It's funny. It's very much in the forefront of my mind, this kind of one thing split into 3 things or whatever, because I don't know whether you've had a chance to watch it yet, Blake, but Tracy and I watched Kill Bill, The Whole Bloody Affair last week, and then
I haven't watched it all together. No. Very
interesting. I actually don't think there's any point. I mean, watch it if you're a Tarantino fan. Why not? Because just to see the difference. But I don't. In my future viewing, I don't think I will watch The Whole Bloody Affair over watching 1 and 2 separately. I don't think there's any point, really.
I mean, do they do anything different other than it just keeps going?
So we delved into it a little bit yesterday of trying to find out what if. So there's a whole the anime. When you find out about Ora Nishii's background, there's a whole extra bit in there where she goes after Boss Tanaka. Is it Boss Tanaka? Whoever the main guy who killed her parents, goes after his general, and that's quite a long scene. But other than that, the rest of it is little bits here, things sort of re-edited in a different order just to kind of make it more sense. If anything, the biggest omission is actually a scene that was cut rather than stuff that's been added, because the final the final scene of Kill Bill 1, when she's on the plane actually writing her shit list out, isn't in there, because that's the cliffhanger, and the bit when she's like, to Sophie Fatale, when she's like, did Bill asks her, does she know it's her baby? That's not in there either, because you don't need that cliffhanger when it's all one thing.
That's a really good way of putting it. It's almost like these 3 episodes are like us watching the director's cut when it's not. There's the director cut when like the Ridley Scott or Zack Snyder really wants to had a vision.
Yeah.
And there's the director cuts that are just like, hey, we can make a little more money off the DVD sales back in the day by doing direct, right? And you're kind of like, do these really add to it? I don't know.
No.
It kind of feels like that's what we're watching.
It's like extended. So in a similar vein, talking about Tarantino again, I found out last year that there was a serialized version of The Hateful Eight.
That probably reads better.
I disagree still. I still don't think I would. I still think I would watch the movie. Did you know that existed? It's like a 3-part miniseries. It's weird.
I didn't know it was broken up like that.
Yes, It's very strange. I don't know whether there's extra bits in it. We watched it. There's no point. So actually, that's a better analogy for these 3 episodes than Kill Bill 1, because there might be like a few like extended scenes and stuff, but it's a weird. it's a weird thing to break down an already sort of 3.5 hour film and separate it off into like a mini series. It was very strange. It would be interesting. We talked about it a little bit, didn't we, on the last episode, sort of looking at Zack Snyder's Justice League, and it's like, I wonder what this would have looked like. So back in the red as one episode, I wonder what it would have looked like.
Yeah, one episode or at most a split up to 30-minute, or just 1 hour long episode. Like I definitely think it would be tighter. I think. Well, moving on. So I guess that does kind of move us on. I like the Captain Hollister bit. It just felt weird doing a cold open into it. It felt like it was backwards. Like it should have gone additional, and then let Hollister do it. Why you have Holly back, so why not do the old additional joke?
Yes,
but also if you let Hollister, it would make total sense, and you could use the convention of, hey, this is how we'll do our to be continued. We'll use Hollister to look right at the camera because it's clearly what it is, because it ends with that Dennis the Donut Boy joke.
Remind me, does episode 2 start with a prison scene, cold open with Lister and Rimmer? I can't remember.
It has to, right?
Because then the continuity of all 3 episodes starting in the same space makes sense.
Or is it just the first and third? Oh,
genuinely
God,
can't remember. So that would make sense why you're starting each episode with Lister and Rimmer in prison. That makes sense.
They do each episode. Yeah, the second one did start because that's the isn't that the magazine one, or is that the first one?
Magazine?
That's the first one, isn't it?
Oh yeah, no, that's about the nappy. We're wearing the nappy. Yeah, because he's.
That's the first one.
Yes, that's the first one. I genuinely.
The second one kicks off with Hollister and Rimmer, right? Rimmer taking the stuff to him. Yeah, it's somewhere in there. I feel like that's where it starts. So you're right. It doesn't even do that. It is weird. I don't know. I just like it. It seems like it was there to let Hollister kick off the episode. And I'm not saying do it. You don't have to do it for every episode, but like it would have made sense, and fans would have been like, oh, I see what they're doing. Hollister is, and in a way, Hollister is like Holly in these moments because he knows what's going on because they're in virtual reality and they don't know that they're in.
Yeah, the second one starts off with Hollister doing his daily report. This is Captain F. Hollister of the mining ship Red Dwarf. Yeah. Several of my crew are presently being tried for crimes against. Yeah, that's weird. Yeah, it's weird. You start to the more you talk about it, the more you look at bits like that, and then the cold open for this episode, and you can already start to cut out quite a lot of it already. That doesn't. It's fluff. Because it's there because it's a 3-parter, not because it adds anything to it.
Not because they had so much story they needed 3 parts.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. So I said that already. I might know, but this could have been a 2-part season opener, 1 hour. So the cat. So I love the cat. I love that Danny John Jules is a song and dance man, and the idea of what they are going to do with Cat while they're in the AR of this whole, I can make this thing. I love him flirting with the woman, the control. I'm smooth with a capital. Ooh, smooth. Like oh man, like so great.
But
the dance bit, it's way too long.
Way too long.
It should just be slide down, tickety tap as Dwayne, tickety tap as the thing, tweety tap as Dwayne, and then Dwayne goes behind, turns into the cat. And then and just get to it.
Yes.
Like it goes on way too long.
Way too long. Yeah, it feels like they've extended it just because they've got space to fill.
Yes, and why? And we've already revealed that this is fake. Like if you were still going on the whole, something's up, because this is crazy. But except we know that this is fake.
Yeah.
So I don't. Yeah, it's.
Yeah, I have the same issue with it.
Now I'm very happy to get Cat moments, so I feel bad saying it, but
no,
I like the other stuff around it. Cat be like, I got a date in 3 days.
Yes.
I'm just gonna, just enough time.
And even though I saw the joke coming from a million miles away, when she's like, ground control to Blue Midget, and he's like, this is Major Tom. You saw the joke coming a million miles away. Major Tom to ground control, and like, yeah, it's there, and it was low hanging fruit, but absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, take it. It was delivered well. I mean, like just the way he pops up into the frame, and like, yeah, it was just too long. It's not that it was a great idea, just too long.
Also, again, I've commented on Red Dwarf. I've never quite sure what age bracket it's aimed at.
Yes.
And there's bits in both this one and the next one where he's like, oh, so this wasn't even a date? Oh, well, I guess I'm going to have another year of sending a Valentine's card to my hand.
I know. It feels, and I know what you're talking about in the next one too. They feel, particularly the second one, the next one, but you're like, he does deliver it in a way to keep moving, but man, you're like, that is crasser than I am. Like, it's weird to say because there have definitely been sex jokes.
Oh, yes.
But it felt crasser.
Yes.
It wasn't like, I think back to like Crichton trying to save Lister from the polymorph, and then Rimmer walks in and thinks they're having sex or whatever. Do you know what I mean? They've clearly gone there, but it's done in such a way.
It's hard to, I know what you're saying, and it's hard to explain it, but yeah, this just feels, I don't know, it felt weird. It felt odd, but funny, don't get me wrong, it's brilliant. And also, again, it goes to that thing of, it's where we talked about them learning how to write. And again, you go back to, now I know why dogs lick the testicles. It's because they don't like the taste of it, right? This is that, where it's not left to dwell. It's just like, oh, well, another year of having to write a Valentine's card for my hand. And then off we go. Just left. It's not paused. So you're like, hang on, what does that mean? It's just, it's there and I'm just going to move on.
Yes. Oh, that is a good point.
That's the better writing. It's not left there for, it is a joke. It is funny, but it's not kind of left to wait, because I've noticed it way more in this episode than the next one. The live audience again of, they'll either wait for the laugh or they'll start saying the next line and the laugh will come and they'll stop and then deliver the next line. I've noticed that quite a bit. But this joke isn't left for that. It's like, we know this joke is there and we know it's a little near the knuckle, but we're just going to pass straight through it.
We're just going to plow straight through. And it works. And also Danny John, his delivery is just, I mean, it's great.
Yeah.
Again, this is going to be the same thing as the previous episode, isn't it? Where we talk about how we end up going through, we start off going, and then we talk about a million moments that we love.
Yes.
It's just like the way that it all comes together doesn't quite
work. And we've said that so many episodes, haven't we? You can have a funny episode, but we've talked about it from a viewpoint of 2026, where we expect a little more from our sitcoms now. We expect more story, more continuity. We expect more, like, not just episode-long stories, but whole series arcs. And it's you're trying to hold, at this point, a 27-year-old BBC low-budget comedy show to the standards of what we expect from things now. And it's not going to, but it just makes it fun to talk about, to be fair.
No, it does. But I also think, though, it's why, particularly with the heights of Series 6, which a lot of people feel like that was the pinnacle that they hit, you're just like, oh, you have something to compare it to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's not quite there. In Series 3, when some things don't quite work, you love Series 1 and you also know where it's going and you see what's being built, so you forgive certain rough around the edges thing and just, you know, like the meltdown, the War World, the Wax World. That is a very rough around the edges episode that they barely pull off stuff because they couldn't afford to really do what they wanted to do, and you completely forgive it. Right, because it swings for the fences. This one's got money, and they do a tap dance scene for 5 minutes. That's too long.
Yes.
So, you know, it's sometimes that necessity is the mother of invention. A bit.
It's funny again that we've kind of talked, like I said, just said there, about wanting more continuity, like series wise. But then if this is what it's going to give us, I don't necessarily want that.
Yeah, see, I'd rather just do Adventure of the Week, or not, but you know what I mean, like episode story of the week.
Yeah, but have them loosely connected.
And this series has 2 to be continued story arcs.
Interesting.
Yeah, so you don't know about that. There's another 2-parter coming.
Okay.
And so it's like, but I agree with you. Like, well, do we need that, you guys? Because we talked about like series, like, is it 5? Something like The Horsemen of the Apocalypse.
Yes.
And you're like, that was a 26-minute episode. But it felt like a ton of stuff happened in that episode. The premise is set up. What's going on? The AR games and how they work. The cold open with Lister and the noir thing. And they just keep stacking on stuff until the end. You're like, man, if they put a ton of stuff in a 25, however long it was, minute episode. Whereas I feel like today's because streaming doesn't have the rules TV does. So we've gotten looser on putting our things together.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of like, well, I don't know how you feel, but sometimes I'll watch like a streaming show that I'm like, I like this. I wish it was 6 episodes instead of 10 and was better to tighten it up, because it's a little meandering or whatever.
Yeah, you've actually literally just took the words right out of my mouth. Again, we did Series 7, which everyone openly admits is the worst, and arguably so far it has been, and they went from 6-episode series to an 8-episode series. We're only 3 episodes into Series 8 at this point. And again, I'm not saying it's bad. I've enjoyed all 3 episodes. But can you imagine if they just carved it back a little bit and even did a 7-episode series?
And I think, not to give a tad of a spoiler here, but as we've said before in the pod, we record 2 episodes back to back. So we're doing series episode 3 today, and we're gonna do episode 4 right after we finish recording this. So Lee and I both just watched 3 and 4 recently. 4 is that way. It is way tighter. There are more jokes going. It's got one story that it's trying to tell,
and it feels much more like an old school Red Dwarf episode. It really
despite
does.
the fact a lot of status quo changes in it.
Yeah.
It feels like an old school Red Dwarf episode.
Like we talked about, and we haven't for a while, because that sort of 1-2 punch of like small character based episode, huge sci-fi concept episode. I feel like Cassandra is that huge sci-fi concept episode.
And even though, I mean, obviously the nanobot premise for this is huge sci-fi, this just I think it just overstays its welcome. So that even things like the dance bit, which you think should be killer, isn't quite. Also, I love having Norman Lovett back. He has nothing to do. I think we are discovering why Holly disappeared.
Yeah.
I mean, the moon bit was funny. Again, I do like the moon gag.
Because he's kind of become Cat from series 1 and 2.
Yes. He's now Cat.
Yes.
Yeah, Cat has more to do. And Holly's there. Oh, I know. I wrote this down. Crichton, when he discovers they're not in reality, and says, "I believe that we are not here," and explains like, that we are so and so and so and so in an augmented. He basically explains what's happening technically, and then Holly goes, "Took the words right out of my mouth."
Yeah,
and I thought, yeah, man, actually,
he probably did.
You did. I because we said Crichton had, because he wanted to be the science officer, had kind of stepped into
Holly's role.
That role, and while he wanted to be taken seriously, so he sounded more intelligent, even though frequently he would make mistakes and stuff, but they weren't like senile. They just were, he was out of his depth, But this, I was like, yeah, he did take the words out of your mouth. And Norman Lovett, love having him back. They're not giving you a lot to do.
Although we do get Egghead.
I will say,
Holly.
That is, there is a world where instead I wish that was the only Holly.
Yes.
Because there's something funny about Egghead Holly that at some point in the series, they ruin it and we get old Holly back.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. It is funny when he's like, "Oh, so if you think I'm that dumb, if I'm that computer senile, explain this." You can't, can you?
You can't get, I know. It's such a great classic Holly bit. Even the moon bit,
to be fair, he does have some really good stuff. There's the cold open to the next episode is brilliant, quite honestly. But we'll say that. Well, obviously, we're not going to talk about that yet. But it's funny. It made me laugh.
I do also like his delivery to Rimmer of, "We're giving you a second chance at life and finding new, interesting ways to screw it up." And he delivers it. So honestly,
I do love the scene in this where Rimmer goes in to erase every part of him making the deal with Lister, and he's cutting bits out, and they're just randomly jumping around. What was that? It's
bananas.
Yeah, but it's the bit when it's Lister says, "I know who this is, and I'm not going to say his name because he'll only cut it out, but it's definitely him." And then with a blunt knife, and
I would take his two, and it cuts too.
With a blunt knife.
Blunt knife.
I thought that bit was really, because the first time I watched it at work, so I didn't see the cuts. I just heard them going, "What happened there? It just happened again." And it wasn't until I watched it for my third viewing 2 nights ago that I actually saw the jump cuts. I was like, "Oh, that is brilliant." Because again, I've talked about it over the course of these 3 episodes. And you start to see it now. Then the first episode, Kachansky and Kat didn't get much to do. Then but Kachansky got a bit more to do in episode 2. Kat gets more to do in this. Crichton gets a bit more to do in this. Holly gets a bit more to do in this. So you can see as an overall 3 episode, it's obviously the main focus is Lister and Rimmer, but the others get their sort of place to shine over the course of the 3 episodes. But if you take them episode by episode, not so much. But yes, then when we know that it was supposed to be sort of mashed together.
If you edited it to 160 minutes, I think it feels more... Obviously, Lister Rimmer are the stars, and then you have your supporting cast. But it would still feel supporting, I think. Yeah. It would not feel like, where did they go? You know?
And I think that's why we maybe... I don't want to say give it a pass, but even though it feels like it's stretched out, we enjoy it a lot more because that partnership is back of Lister and Rimmer.
And there is something, so there's a charm to series 1 and 2 that I love, which is, and I think I said this several times, so I was going, there's a thing that happened in this that I love because I know what it's going to lead to.
Yes.
Not necessarily a story beat, but like a moment that almost happened comedy-wise that you can tell later they leaned into, or the way that Craig Charles and Chris Berry, work off of each other. They made it stronger. They made it better. Like when they introduced Crichton, and Crichton's a little weirdly used at the beginning of series 3, but I'm like, I know where it's going though. So I'm enjoying seeing them find it.
Yes.
This has the same feeling of seeing them all find this, everybody together and stuff. I have an odd moment right here, though, that did not occur to me on the first viewing, that on my subsequent viewings made me a little sad. And it's at this scene when they run away with Rimmer and they convince him you should come with us. You can be one of the crew. And, Rimmer was a vital person on the crew. And something on my subsequent viewing, I was like, man, it almost feels like when they wake from the AR and offer Rimmer a position, that is actually what should have happened in the show. Then they go on an adventure looking for nanobots, and it's like series 6, except you've got Holly and Kachansky with you, and then you come back to the dwarf to prove your innocence.
Yes.
But you have some classic adventures for a few episodes before you come back to dwarf.
Yes.
Because especially that viewing, I was like, man, this is kind of a letdown. I feel if I was watching this for the first time and I thought, we're going to kind of return a little bit to status quo. They're going to escape on a ship. It's going to be the crew, but they'll have Holly, they'll have Kachansky, and then they don't do it. And I got to be honest, and we'll continue watching the subsequent episodes. I don't know why, because they go out of their way in the next few episodes to make a system where it feels like old school dwarf and cut down the number of cast, but they're stuck in prison.
Yes.
Whereas you could have just had them running from Red Dwarf, right? That maybe they were being chased after or whatever, but they're looking for the nanobots, and you could have had some nice random adventures, which in a way is what happens in the next couple of episodes. But I don't know. There was something to them genuinely saying like, yeah, man, Rimmer was a vital part of the crew. Come be with us. And I was like, it's actually kind of sad that's not true.
There is a bit that made me think of you, though, of a Crichton bit. When they're trying to, it's at this bit where they're trying to convince Rimmer to come with them. And it's like 5, you're not going to convince him just giving him some buttons. It's like, you say 5 buttons, you say? 5 whole buttons?
5
It's like it's like a new start, a new life. You'll wake up in the morning, you want to leap out of bed, and Crichton says, well, in your case, Mr. Lister, sir, that's because your sheets are full of pointy poppadom shards, and he does
like he finds himself so clever. But that's what I mean. Like you feel like it's like, oh yeah, we're gonna get the show back, and then they don't actually end up doing it. I will say we completely skipped over something that I can't believe we did. Kat being brilliant at deducing what's going on and that they need to escape.
And it's like, you can definitely tell this isn't reality, sir.
Yeah, when he figures out X11T.
Oh, yes, that's right.
X Roman numeral T. Get it? Exit. So good. And the whole, although I will say money for stop motion, but that goes nowhere.
That stop motion is awful, by the way. Not one of them looks like who they're supposed to be. It looks really bad.
Oh, it looks really rough, but I do appreciate some like cat being oddly, it's ketchup and power. Get it? Power sauce.
Power sauce. Yeah.
Like,
see, that joke wouldn't hit in America either, would it? Because that's an interesting one. That's why he says ketchup, because we don't generally refer to it as ketchup over here. Maybe a southern thing. I think northerners definitely, we just call it sauce. It's tomato sauce. It'll say ketchup on the bottle.
So then what do you say for actual tomato sauce?
Tomato sauce. We would just call it tomato sauce. I would call it tomato sauce. I would never call it ketchup.
But if it's not ketchup, no, sorry. I mean, but actual tomato sauce, like you've made a sauce of tomatoes, not ketchup.
I guess the same thing. I don't know.
I love when we get to our cultural discussions.
So yeah, I guess we just call it tomato sauce. Yeah. So
if I put a bunch of tomatoes, I said tomatoes.
Tomatoes. Yeah, it sounds weird hearing Americans say tomatoes.
If I were to go make that and put it in a saucepan until they cook down and made a sauce, you would just also call that tomato sauce.
Yeah, if we were making like a pasta sauce.
Yeah.
Like what's in the pan? Oh, it's tomato sauce for the pasta.
Amazing.
I think it's much more of a northern thing, but I think the point I was making was, I wonder if, like, we talked about it, didn't we, after that American Pilot came out, there's a few more of those quintessentially English jokes and references that kind of went away a little bit, more so than they used to be. And I wonder if that's why he says ketchup, get it, tomato sauce, rather than just going, hey, tomato sauce, so Americans get it.
Oh, that's a good point. That actually makes a lot of sense there as to why he would overdo it.
Yeah, it's like really over explaining it. You would have just gone, look, there's a bottle of, I don't know, maybe.
It actually kind of works for the cat too, because it's a way to no, but I bet you're totally right about it, because they knew there was an American audience. They were selling tapes and DVDs in America at this point.
Yeah. There's also another Crichton bit that made me laugh, and it's not even particularly funny. It just made me laugh the way, is it when we're frightening low on, what are we frightening low on? Oxygen? Oh, worse, a fabric softener. Suggest we chart a course for the nearest derelict, the SS Einstein, before everyone's woolens get all bibbly bobbly. I love it as bibbly bobbly.
But see,
it just made me laugh.
I love that, because they knew that there were other derelicts nearby, and I'm like, see guys, there was a way to do this show where they were off.
Yeah,
in Blue Midget for a few episodes, save some money so you're not paying for all the effects and sets of Red Dwarf, and then come back to it.
There is some really good jokes though, like that whole bit when he's like, Einstein, isn't that the guy that discovered America? No, Einstein discovered the theory of relativity. It's like, what's the theory of relativity, Holly? Like, just dumb it down for me. And it's like, well, it's a theory. It's like, is that it? Like, oh, you want me to? You didn't want it that dumb. Well, it's a theory that you only tell your relatives.
So here was my comment about that. We talked about the President of the United States joke being weirdly timed well. I think this one is too, the whole theory of relativity a theory you only tell your relatives. That reads to me like an honest attack at current AI, and how current AI, as we use it, hallucinates, because it's just language models that are putting up, the best guess word next to it. And so sometimes it'll hallucinate and say crazy things. And I was like, oh my God, Holly is the portent. It predicted hallucinatory AI.
Oh my God. Funny. Yeah, it was a funny episode, I think, overall, but it was
when they come out and they're all in AR, capped as an actor, Captain Hollister's delivery of finding out that the sexual magnetism has been lost is hysterical. And what's funny is his sort of almost like a child baby tantrum, screaming, and then the way he just stops and he's like, ugh. We needed that one for important research. Like, it's so great. Like, goes, he just like,
damn it, Rimmer! I really want. I mean, the guys in the lab really wanted it.
That one, yeah. Like, it's so. God, he just for someone that was hired to barely be in the show in the very beginning. How good is he? And how great does he fit with every? I mean, like, it's just you're just like, man, you belong with this group of performers. Like, it just fits like so well. And he didn't have to, like he could have just been someone, because 2 episodes that he was in, 3, whatever it was, with a flashback maybe that Hollister was in. It wasn't a lot. in the first series.
No, and wasn't he in Stasis League? Did he turn up in Stasis League? I don't remember.
I can't remember if he did or not. Peterson did. I can't remember if Hollister did. But he's just, man, he's so great at it. Like, just that bit is such an old school sitcom thing. Oh God, it's great.
And then they get Egghead Holly that's like, so basically what you're telling me is they're not guilty, and so they're not getting that 2-year sentence, but they're guilty of something else and getting an altogether entirely different 2-year sentence.
That'll be a great comfort to them. That's my favorite bit of that.
Oh, man. It kind of ends a little weak, I think, overall as an episode as well. But
I right now, I hope that doesn't continue. I say the same thing about the next episode as well.
I can't remember.
I think the next episode has a better ramp up, but kind of.
Oh, yes, the end
ends a bit weak.
I didn't mind the end of the next one. This one, and it also, it goes to something I said on the last episode. So I said to you, when Rimmer takes the sexual magnetism virus and goes to the supper that Hollister's hosting, why is it only the women?
Right.
But then fast forward to the end of this episode and they're all down in the tank and Rimmer pours it on him or something, does he? And then suddenly all the guys that are around him start like stroking him and like canoodling up to him and like, we found earlier that it wasn't working that way, but now just because it's funny, and that's kind of why I feel like it ends a little...
It ends a little weak. Also, like, you're like, I know it's 1998, but I was like, okay, this in the next episode, setting it in a prison, like, you guys just like to do as many prison, like, sexual assault jokes as you can. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're just like, I was like, oh, I don't think I remembered how much you go to this well for this.
Is it the next one? Oh, no, it is the next one. I'll save that. Yeah.
They go to that well a lot. Also, the very first episode of this series with the cold open of Rimmer saying you dumped an unknown substance all over me from a tube. Is this referencing this?
I guess so.
Yeah, I just was curious if that, because it doesn't, he knows the sexual magnetism is. I do like, to back it up a little bit, I love Rimmer's delivery of coming around to talk to them, and Kachansky is turned on by his sexual magnetism.
Oh, I want his babies. She's brilliant at playing that, actually.
Yeah, but his face, Rimmer's face, like when he's like, "Look, Lister, we gotta." Oh God, like, he's just like when he sees
because he's so spent. He's like, yeah, no, like any other time, as we'll find out in the next episode over Kachansky. Hell yeah!
Isn't that a weird 1-2 though?
Yeah, I think it's just because he's absolutely done at that point.
Yeah. But I mean, brilliant it's funny that comes up twice in a row is what I mean. Like, yeah.
She's brilliant. She's really grown into that role this time round, I think. Like, it took her, we said when she came in, it was a knee-jerk reaction of losing Chris Barry, and they brought her in and didn't really give a lot for her to do, and she's really struggling to find her place. I think she's really found her place among the crew now, and I really like her.
Well, there's certainly something to be said for, if Series 7 was supposed to be like Series 6, they're out in space, we're going to make a justified reason as to why Starbug is bigger, so we can have a slightly bigger set. All right, we'll bring her in and we'll just keep doing adventures in space. They didn't really have anywhere to go.
No.
And so this series, like introducing this crazy idea of the Red Dwarf has been rebuilt and the status quos are all up in the air. It's an excellent opportunity because everything else is so different for her to feel like she's part of this. The crew is a fish out of water. She gets to be fish out of water with him. And I think it does play well. It is a shame though that there was no explanation to, even if you had Chris Kachansky play the role doubled with special effects, that a Kachansky wasn't existing on the ship already.
Yeah,
because she wouldn't have been accounted for because she was on. But that's digging deeper than.
Oh, absolutely.
I think most people go. But
I tell you what, I would like to do at some point. It's just made me think about us, the conversation we've just had about this episode, and you feel that the next one kind of ending kind of weakly. When we finish this podcast, and look, I don't want to give myself more because I kind of like the fact that this podcast has an end at some point, like 30 episodes down the line. But I would be interesting to do a top 5 ends. Like the top 5, like the best ends. You know what I mean? I think I know which one's going to win, to be fair, because you reference it quite often. But it would be interesting. You know what I mean? Like, let's just put it out there. It's a Smeg and Garbage pod, right? That kind of, like, what the best... Because I feel like they've always tried to write each episode with a joke end, like a bang punchline, and then like into the music. It would be interesting to go through every episode and kind of note down what we think the sort of our 5 favorite like final scenes would be interesting. I think that could be fun, actually.
And this just, you know what? It's funny because now that you say that, I think the ones we're not liking, they're visual gags, aren't they?
Yes.
There were a lot of verbal gags with visuals, obviously.
Yeah.
But now, like the porn, the sexual magnetism virus on Rimmer, it's all visual.
Yeah, like you go back to something like Balance of Power? Where it's like, Lister, how did you do? Lister, how did you do? How did I do, Mr. Lister, sir? An end. Like that type of... Yeah, we haven't got a lot of that. It's interesting. I'm gonna be watching these going forward a little bit more.
That might be why I say I don't care for the next one as much. I'm not saying I hate it, but
it is a visual end. Yeah.
It's a visual, but that hadn't occurred to me until you just said that.
No, that's going to be a bit. I'll be interested to go back and watch like the last sort of 3 minutes of every episode just to kind of see how they all end. Would be fun, actually.
Yes, making Garbage Pod and the end. Or time runs out. Time. Whatever the end of Series 6 is, but there's some good ends.
I mean, Smoke Me a Kipper, I'll be back for breakfast. You know, there's so many of them when you start to think about it. Yeah, but it's interesting, isn't it?
They are audible though. A lot of them.
Yeah. I think you're right. I think the
point where you had the idea of ending the pod with doing the end scene, and now we've been lately going, God, these are hard because they're not
necessarily a punchline, which they used to be, and I feel like you need that, because putting for those listening, putting that last the sort of final section of the episode in as us kind of acting it out, and then like whatever the final line is, and then that hit of the theme music, putting that together has made me realize how some of them really don't have a good ending. Ooh. Because it's like it works so well. It's a Smegging Garbage Pod, and then doon. That's how it works. And the ones that don't have that are the ones that I feel don't necessarily have the best ending. Yeah, interesting.
I absolutely feel that. I'm right there with you. Does that get us to our rating?
Yeah, I think so. It's a tough one again, isn't it? Because we're talking about part 3 of a one episode, basically.
It doesn't help to watch them back to back. Maybe if you could take out some of the last episode and stuff, that would feel better. But boy, it back to back, it feels like it should not have been done that way.
Go on then, Blake. I'll let you go first.
I'm running on a consistent 6 of 10 lately, and I think that's where I'm stick this one at.
Yep, that's about the same. I enjoyed it. There's some really good jokes in it. The camaraderie's getting there. You can see. Or like I've already said, that it was difficult bringing Kachansky in and finding her place, but then you're bringing Rimmer back in, you're bringing Holly back in, and them all trying to find their place when they've only ever been at most 4, and now you've got extra people in of all trying to, and I think this episode has definitely allowed them to kind of find their place and play off each other, and those friendships and sort of bouncing off each other's cum, and I think that definitely helped it moving forward. So yeah, I'll agree with you. I think a 6 are fairly decent.
I think 6 for me is becoming like really good jokes I enjoy, but it doesn't come together as a whole.
And I think I think if you go back and look at all the ones we've probably rated as 7 and above, will be the ones where they're funny, but the overall story of the episode really comes together well.
Yes. And you need both. I agree. It's the kind of I'm going to retract that.
Yes.
There are some shows that can get away with one-liners all day long. Yeah. I think I told you I just started watching Lee Max Not Going Out, and that's not a story show, but I do love cutting it on for lines like I about died the other night for when the lady tells Lee Mack, like, hey, there's no I in team. And he's like, and there's no effing way. It's like golden.
Brilliant.
And that's all I need that show to be, right? But Red Dwarf has always posited itself as something different. It does both.
Yes.
It does both. And so, to be honest, the good work that Rob Grant to bring it back to Rob Grant and to Doug Naylor, they did such a good job of that. They made the job harder.
Yes, because they set the foundation there so hard for it that not doing that. I mean, you could still do it, I guess. You don't necessarily need a high concept episode. Just a story that's basic enough to allow you to just do jokes.
Yep.
Like, to be fair, Marooned isn't necessarily... When you look at the basic story of that, it's literally them crash landing on a planet and they're just waiting to get rescued. There's nothing special. Like, there's nothing story-wise. There's nothing special in it. But that storyline allows them to have the moments that they have. So it doesn't need to necessarily have the all the parts of it come together. You just need to give them a background of something to allow things to happen in between. But Maroon's probably the anomaly at this point, to be fair.
I need to go watch Marooned again. God, that was such a good episode.
It is.
You may be messing up my top 5 again.
Well, you had Marooned as your number 1.
I do believe. It may slide back up at some point.
Cool. Right. Well, that is going to bring us to the end of another podcast. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Dwarf Memory for all show updates and random stuff that I post when I remember.
Please subscribe, rate, and review for the show wherever you can, and email us your comments at dwarfmemory@gmail.com.
And we have got one from Craig. I haven't sent you it over. It's quite a long email. Sorry, Craig, I haven't even read it myself yet because I was super busy when you sent it and I haven't had a chance to read it, but I will send it to Blake.
I look forward to it.
The next episode we will be discussing, as we've alluded to a lot in this episode, will be the 4th episode of Series 8, which will be Cassandra. So make sure to watch before you join us for the next episode.
This is all your fault.
My fault?
You betrayed us over that confidential file scam, stole the sexual magnetism virus, you lied to us, and generally behaved like a self-serving, scum-sucking, ruthless little ratbag.
And that's bad?
It is the finding of this inquiry that you have been found guilty of contravening Act 21 of the Space Federation. Before sentencing, you will have medicals so you can be assigned appropriate prison status.
I've buggered this up a bit, haven't I?
Welcome to the tank.